So, Vinland Saga changed my life. Now, if you see the title of this video, you may be thinking, what? Vinland Saga changed your life? Or you may see why it changed my life, but obviously it's an exaggeration for a title. But when I mean Vinland Saga changed my life, I mean it changed my perspective on life, you know? And I can kind of relate to Thorfinn, obviously, not in the sense of, you know, killing, because I never killed anyone, obviously, right? But I mean in terms of, like, I can understand the kind of 3 stages he went through in his life. So you had Thorfinn. Well, we're going to be talking today about the young Thorfinn, so kind of child Thorfinn, when, you know, his dad was still alive and he was still living in Iceland. I think, is that where he lived? Iceland? It was Iceland, right? And then you got the teenage Thorfinn when he was fighting against the Vikings and he was fighting for the Danish army. You know, he's trying to get revenge for his daddy. He was always trying to fight Askeladd, that Thorfinn. And then I'm going to talk about the current Thorfinn that we have right now in season 2, the calmer, stoic, almost Christian-like Thorfinn who was trying to turn his life around. Okay, so first off, let's talk about young Thorfinn. So young Thorfinn, right, he was very innocent, he was very young, and he didn't really understand war. He still thought war was this cool thing, you know, like how kids these days, right? And I'm saying kids these days only be 19, but, you know, I'm saying like little kids, you know, you'll see fighting shows, or you'll see shows where there's a lot of action, you think, oh, that's cool. Or you'll see shows about war, or people going to war, or you may even watch animes of people going to war, and yes, it's cool to watch. Even watching shows where people die or people get hurt, yes, it's cool to watch. All that is fine because you're sat behind a screen and it's not affecting you. But if you had to go through what some of these characters went through in your real life, it would really affect you. And I feel like that was the kind of problem with young Thorfinn, because he thought war was really cool, and that's fine because loads of kids think that, you know, you see the blood, you see the gore, but they don't see what he does to people's families. They don't see how it can affect you mentally, how it can affect other people mentally, you know. And we're seeing that with Thorfinn in season 2. And also, they're basically sold this propaganda. So let me read to you the definition of propaganda right now. So, information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote a political cause or a point of view. And that's basically what Thorfinn was sold, was a propaganda. Not just Thorfinn, because it was the rest of the kids in his village was sold the propaganda that war is fun. But as we know, he quickly learned that it wasn't very fun. And what strayed Thorfinn fully down the warpath is when he saw his father die at the hand of Askeladd's men. And that's when he makes a decision to get revenge on Askeladd, and that was his only goal and his only sole motivator, was to kill Askeladd. And that kind of moves us into the second half of season 1, and that kind of moves us into teenage Thorfinn. But before we go into teenage Thorfinn, I'll tell you why I relate to young Thorfinn so much, because it's like, when I was younger, it's not like I always thought or nothing like that, but like, you want to be the strongest. I don't know if every person, or especially males, I don't know if every male thought like this, but especially me, you know, when I was younger, I wanted to be the strongest. I didn't want people looking down on me. I don't want to go too into my personal life, you know. I kind of got bullied in primary school, especially when I was younger, until I kind of grew up a bit. So I can kind of see where wanting to be strong comes from, because it's basically, you want the power. You kind of want people to fear you as well. My whole mindset is different from them, but you kind of want people to respect you in a sense. You want your other male peers to respect you, you want your parents to respect you, and basically you want validation for yourself, right? That's what I think anyway, personally. And that is still true with teenage Thorfinn and a lot of teenagers. Now, teenage Thorfinn, right, why I relate to teenage Thorfinn so much, right, and I still have to learn not to do this, right, or learn to do this actually, is listen to your elders, right? Okay, obviously it's hard for kids to listen to adults because sometimes you don't want to hear that. It sounds like a lecture, and Thorfinn didn't understand what his dad was trying to tell him, and he only looked at it as, look, Dad, you're going to war, so why can't I go to war? Really, what you've got to look at it is, they've already experienced it. They're trying to stop me from making the same mistakes they made. And that's what Thorfinn learns to do later down the line. And I feel like a lot of teenagers, including myself, you know, especially when I was in school, you know, my parents would try. I wasn't too naughty at school, but I was a bit naughty at school, right? And they'd try to tell me, you know, you gotta get your head down, and eventually I did, right? But in my earlier days of school, like 13, 14, 15, 13, 14, 15, bit of 16, right? I just, you know, I didn't like school. I liked some lessons. I liked English. I liked English because we used to do a lot of poems and stuff in there. It was good listening to different stories, right, in English. And I liked PE as well because I was very into basketball, football, and all that. But when it came to other stuff, other lessons, let's say maths or science, you know, I just wasn't interested at all. And I'm not saying the best in them stuff, but, you know, having that knowledge is very important. And in Thorfinn's case, right, I'll say that because he didn't listen to his dad, right, and again, I don't blame him for that because he was young, and his sole purpose was revenge, it kind of made him empty. And why I also want to talk about Thorfinn is like hating someone, right? Because I've been there before where you absolutely hate someone, right? I realize that now, but I didn't realize it back then. But it takes so much energy out of you for you to think about one person and for you to hate on another person for so much, right? It takes all the energy out of you. Now, with Christianity, right, I will admit, not that I wasn't the biggest fan of Christianity, but forgiveness part, it never really sat right with me. I always used to be like, if someone does me wrong, how can I then forgive that person? How can I then go give them a hug? I prefer the stoic way where they explain it, and this is kind of me transitioning from teenage Thorfinn to adult Thorfinn, right? Kind of a middle ground between them right now. But let me just read you out this definition. This is how they define forgiveness: a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance towards a person or group who has harmed you, regardless of whether they actually deserve your forgiveness, right? And that's what teenage Thorfinn couldn't grasp. But once Askeladd died, right, and once he got older, he learned to understand that. And that was the same for me, because really, why I say Vinland Saga has changed my mindset, because this is a recent change in my mindset. I'm not even gonna lie, it's a recent change, right? Because, you know, I went through something, right? I won't get too much into it, so again, because it's not a personal video about me, it's about Vinland Saga, but I kind of learned to let it go, and kind of woke me up to what I was missing. And I think it was the same thing with Thorfinn. It's like when someone says forgive someone, or not really turn the other cheek, but forgive them, right? I took it as like, oh, what do you mean forgive them? How are you going to forgive someone? Well, you're going to let it go. That's a, you know, B word move, or come on, you're a P word. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I can't swear on here, but no, it doesn't make you that. You're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it for them. That I was looking at it wrong. When you forgive someone, right, I was looking at it as in I'm doing it for them. No, you're doing it for yourself, right? And this is what makes season 2 of Vinland Saga so great. You guys don't understand. This is what makes it so good, is because the author is trying to teach you stuff, trying to teach you about letting stuff go. And as you get older, trust me, a lot of you guys, if you're younger than me, because I'm 19 now, or some of you guys may even got it earlier than me, right? Once you start learning the true meaning of forgiveness, right, and doing it for yourself, it feels so much better, because like I said before, holding on to that anger, it gets draining after a while. Someone did something wrong to me, right? Say someone, like, I'm not saying like no one like put their hands on me or anything, but like, you know, this said some stuff to me, you know, it hurt, but I realized you gotta let it go and you feel so much better. You know, when you just forgive stuff and just let it go and not shake their hand and start hanging out with them again, but if you just distance yourself from them and get them out of your mind, trust me, and focus on the positives in your life, which is hard to do because there's a lot of negatives in life. And trust me, I'm not the most positive person, I'll tell you that now, right? I'll be honest, I'm not the most positive person, but if you just learn to forgive, and I thought that's what Vinland Saga, that's what the author was trying to tell me, you will feel so much better. And I do, because when I've learned to forgive certain stuff and let it go, it's like a weight is lifted off your chest, and then you can start focusing on positive stuff. So I started focusing on this YouTube channel, started going to the gym, going for walks, just doing other stuff, you know, enjoying life. If you just focus on being angry at one person, right, look how lost Thorfinn was after it. He didn't know what to do. He'd spent his whole life hating Askeladd, right, wanting to kill him. When Askeladd eventually died, right, whether Thorfinn would have killed Askeladd or not, I think he would have felt the same, you know. He felt empty. He didn't know what to do after that. Then he got taken as a slave, and I feel like that was a important lesson for Thorfinn. It was a wake-up call for him, and I think him being taken as a slave and him, you know, one, going from a warrior to then being on the other end of the spectrum, being a slave and having to work for someone else, I think it taught him that, one, what he was doing before was wrong, and two, it gave him a different look on life. And I think he finally understood what his father tried telling him all them years ago. Now, can he change his past? No, but that's what the show is telling you. You can't change your past, but your future right now, no matter how old you are, that's what you can control, right? That's what you can control, the present and the future. And look, I think that's all I want to say about the Vinland Saga, but for me, it is one of the best animes I have ever watched, and I will say that hands down, one of the best animes I've ever watched, right? I've not reading the manga because I kind of don't, I feel like reading the manga, but I don't want to be spoiled. But for me, Vinland Saga is one of the best animes, definitely in my top 5, right? Definitely 110%, one of the best, one of the greatest animes ever made. I will say that right now, and I will argue you to the death on that. You know, I've had my points about other animes, you know, recently Sunny Boy, you know, I've had my opinions and stuff like that, right? And people can go back and forth on that, but I refuse. If you tell me you don't like Vinland Saga, right, I refuse to. I can't understand why, because it's peak anime. It's just peak. It's an amazing show, and yeah, I just, you know, I can't remember the author's name I put on the screen, but you know, you are a genius. Okay, you're a genius. You are in a realm of your own. You know, you're in the Kishimoto realm. You're in the whoever the, you know, the author of One Piece. I forget his name as well. You know, I know he's really good friends with Kishimoto, but you're in that realm. You know, you're in the realm of greatness, right? And you've created a great anime, and if people that call Season 2 a farming simulator, they've not grasped what Vinland Saga Season 2 is about. And I'll end it by saying, you have no enemies. When you truly understand that, life, don't get me wrong, life is always going to be hard, but it gets easier to cope with stuff. But look, that's all I'll say. This is probably one of my most passionate videos, actually, because I love Vinland Saga. Amazing anime. If you guys haven't, if you're watching this video now and you haven't watched this, well, look, if this doesn't give you a reason to watch it, then I don't know what does. It changes lives, literally. It changes your outlook on life. But look, I'm not going to take any more of your time. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. If you did enjoy this video, check out the rest of my videos. Check out my video about Askeladd as well, because Askeladd is another character where he's good to analyze as well. And look, this has been Anime K, and thank you for listening, or thank you for watching, and peace. I am out.